Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Genuine Business Stories. Today we're going to do the state of Precinct 2, Montgomery County, Texas, and we have got our county commissioner with us today. We are glad to have Charlie Riley with us. We're going to open this up, and this is not going to be political, but we are going to let Charlie talk to us about what he does on a day-to-day basis and how this helps our community. So in today's episode, we're going to take an informational look at the state of infrastructure and the growth of Montgomery County, Texas, Precinct 2, and what residents should understand about how their local government manages roads, projects, planning, and more. We're not here to talk politics. We're here to talk responsibility, results, and clarity. Since Precinct 2 has a tremendous growth over the last decade, there's been a lot of construction, traffic changes, and new subdivisions, and questions from residents about how these projects are handled and who's responsible for them. So to start off, I want to give listeners a little context on our guest today. Charlie Riley first became our county commissioner for Montgomery County, Texas, Precinct 2 in 2014. This gives him some years of experience. With our massive growth, we desperately need this experience because he's got the relationships with TxDOT and our other county officials so that we can get our roads taken care of and make sure we can accommodate the massive growth we're seeing, because right now we're the number 5 growth county in all of the country, and we had been number 1. I also want to introduce my co-host, Skip Colvin. Skip, I appreciate you being here. And with that being said, thanks, Charlie. And Skip, let's take this away.
Thank you, Clint. I appreciate the invite to come in and get an opportunity to speak to Commissioner Riley. So, Commissioner Riley, welcome. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Y'all having me. Thank y'all.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to dive right in if that's okay with you, Commissioner.
Let's go.
You know, one of the things about Precinct 2 is it's a large growth area opportunity in Montgomery County. I know that you have been in this role for quite a while, but a lot of people really don't understand what a commissioner does, and it has a lot of different facets. If you don't mind, just give us the breakdown just a little bit of what a commissioner does in Montgomery County, Texas.
Well, my main function is to make sure we got good roads and good bridges, and I take care of maintaining those. The other thing that we do, we set the county budget for all the departments and the county. We set the tax rate. We take care of all the contracts. We make sure all the contracts the way we need them and who we want them with. We take care of, we have to manage the jail and all the courts. We furnish most of the oversight for most of the departments in the county that helps all the people in Montgomery County, even the people that live in the cities, Conroe, Magnolia, little city like Stagecoach or any of those,
Pinehurst.
Or Pinehurst, any of those, they all use our services, and we have to furnish those services. So it's a big job, big responsibility.
Charlie, one thing that is, before we really dive in, I've noticed on social media there seems to be some real confusion. Can you clearly state to our individuals in our county what the responsibility is and how that ties in between what the county commissioner does and TxDOT's? Because I'll hear people throw accusations of the county commissioner should have done this, and then we're responding going, but it's not his responsibility, that's TxDOT. I don't believe that all of the general public knows the difference of where that line varies and the relationships you have to maintain to work with TxDOT as the county commissioner, and then what's your responsibility?
Well, the answer to some of these folks is you can't just answer, well, that's TxDOT, it's not mine. It's in our precinct, but it's not our responsibility to maintain or take care of that road. We don't build a TxDOT road. We don't design them. We don't maintain them. We don't do any of that. But they are in our precinct. So if we've got a problem with a TxDOT road, and the TxDOT road is going to have a number on it, it's going to be either State Highway 105 or FM 1488, FM 1774, State Highway 6. All of the state have numbers. County roads, there's so many different kind of county roads. There's county roads that are maintained by the county. There are county roads that are private, that are maintained by a subdivision, that's a gated subdivision. They're not maintained by the county, but they have to be built to that our standards, but we don't go in a gated community and maintain those roads. There's county roads. There are roads in the county that are private that we can't maintain. And there are county roads in here that are nobody's road. There's just a road here that somebody made a trail through here 100 years ago, and there's 10 or 12 homes on it, and they don't want the county messing with it. They want to do their own thing on their own road, and that's roads that we don't deal with. A county road will be a named road. Some counties will put numbers on them, but it will be like Grimes County. They have Grimes County. They have a G 304, Grimes County Road 304, State Highway 249 State Highway. So numbered roads are always state roads, and there are some county roads in some small counties that use numbers. There's so many signs that get stolen if you put names out there on county roads. They'll steal street signs. We had a road called Tobacco Road. I bet you we spent $6,000 a year trying to keep a sign up there because everybody wanted the Tobacco Road. So we had to finally put it about 20 feet up in the air. But that's the kind of things that we deal with all the time. Yeah. To maintain or to work with TxDOT on a road, like I say, you can't just say it's a TxDOT road, it's not my responsibility. When somebody calls us and asks us about TxDOT, we try to ask them what they're wanting, what they need. We try to explain to them it's not ours, and we give them a phone number to call. If it's something to do with a traffic signal or a sign, or if there's a pothole in a state road, we know who they need to contact, and we'll give them those numbers to contact. Do we coordinate with TxDOT? Yes, on a weekly, monthly basis. We are constantly in contact with TxDOT on what they're going to do. TxDOT has a plan for the next 40 years of what they're planning on doing. So these TxDOT roads that you're seeing now coming under construction, like 1488, 1486 is going to be under construction before long. 1774 was under construction. Those were planned probably 15 years ago or 20 years ago, and they're just now getting to where they're under construction and doing their work. Things change in the 20 years since they said we're going to widen 1488. 20 years ago, they wasn't expecting us to have a 160% increase in the last 5 years around Magnolia. That was not even heard of. So you have to change your plan. They will change that plan, and then they will do their work. Did they plan on putting raised medians on these roads 20 years ago? No, they didn't. But when they sit there and look at all their statistics from the last so many years on state roads, and they determine that these raised medians will slow down some of the accidents. That's what they've tried to do. So they came up with this grand design of the statewide raised medians for all these state roads that you're going to widen. Did it help some of the accidents? Some of it did. Did it hurt some of the property owners? Yes, it did. Did it hurt some of the businesses? It sure did. But me as a county commissioner, I have no authority to go in there and tell these guys, we don't want your medians in front of so-and-so. We don't need your medians. They've got their statewide plan. I can suggest to them that what I think they ought to do, and I went to all the public meetings, and I made my suggestion was what you need to do is add the other lane, make it 6 lanes before you do anything. Well, they didn't listen to that. They put the median down. Mm-hmm. So the median has caused a lot of problems, but it certainly wasn't something that I did not try to get them not to do. I understand why they tried to do it. I just think they went a little too far, and they didn't put some of the things where they need to put them, and it's caused a little problem around 1488. It really has.
Yeah.
Thanks for clearing that up, because it's also caused some confusion about TxDOT being responsible for 1488, which means you work with them the best you can. But
yes.
On social media, I've seen one too many times where they've tried to go, Commissioner's office should have fixed 1488, and that's just not possible.
No, it's not.
It doesn't fall under your purview as a county commissioner.
No.
You know.
Again,
I do appreciate
you try to
clarity.
coordinate with them as much as you can, and you work with them as much as you can. We got to work together, or we're never going to get anything done.
Yeah.
$600 million of TxDOT money, federal money, has been spent in Precinct 2 in the last 20 years or last 10 years.
Right.
That's a lot of money that we've brought here.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money that we've brought. And you have to work with these guys to make that happen, or it never would have happened.
Well, and their master plan, and I've been fortunate enough to see some of that plan, is, it is spread out over multi-decades.
Yes.
And they're planning stuff out today that is going to be on the books in 15 or 20 years. And speaking of that infrastructure, when you think about, and I moved to this county in 2003, and so I saw it, it's a lot different than it was then.
Yes.
And I remember the Montgomery area, the Conroe area, the Magnolia area, and I remember when really 1774 and 1488 was just really two-lane highway.
Two-lane roads.
That's right. So a lot of growth has happened. But think about Fish Creek for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved here in 03, we used to go up 2978 and cut through Honea, Egypt,
Yes.
to go over to Montgomery. A lot's changed.
A whole lot has changed.
Talk a little bit about that whole wood forest area and that infrastructure that you did through there.
That was, Honea, Egypt used to come up there, then it would dead end at Lake Creek at one time. That was it was Honea, Egypt, Sendera Ranch is what it was, and then you would have to go all the way through Montgomery Trace to get around the creek and come back on Leah Drive to finish up. Then you couldn't get across the railroad track. At 2854.
That's right.
So with our road bond in 2015, we were able to put the bridges over Lake Creek, make the other 2 lanes all the way from 1488 up to 105, because we built the overpass over the railroad track in 2854. So we got all that done. And see, that was done so much quicker than any TxDOT job could ever be done, because it was county money, it was county road bond. People voted for that and said, here, we're going to give you this money. We want you to spend this money on these projects. And that was our major project, was Fish Creek.
Yeah.
Because of the bridges over Lake Creek and the overpasses.
So 2015, you did a road bond.
Yes.
You just did another road bond in 2025.
Yes.
Which to me is very interesting in the way that was presented, because we've had so much significant growth, not just in Precinct 2, but across the county as a whole, that the new growth and the new tax dollars coming in from that help offset any cost to the taxpayer by doing that road bond.
Correct. We got a lot of growth. We got a lot of growth, and we get a lot of rooftops. But rooftops is really not what we need. It's good to have all these rooftops. We need industry and commercial and retail. Yeah. For every rooftop that we get, for every dollar in tax money that we receive from these residents, it's somewhere between $1.46 or $1.60, somewhere in there, to service that house. So, but if you had retail or commercial development, every dollar we get from those guys, it costs us about 18 cents to service them. So that's where we need to be. All this growth is good in a way, it's bad in a way. We get tax money, that's for sure, but it costs us over that $1 to service those houses by the time we furnish all these departments and all these services that we do.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. One of the things that is very important with the commissioner's office is also work with those local communities, like the city of Magnolia, like the other cities that you serve in your precinct. That relationship is critical for a lot of things: economic development, bringing in corporations, having the infrastructure to do that, the roads to do that. Tell me a little bit about what you see as the future in your precinct, as being able to recruit, retain, actually industrial jobs or good jobs or retail jobs that come, not just rooftops, but the businesses that come in and employ people.
I think one of the major things that I'm looking at, and I'm probably the most proud of, is our 249 FM 249 toll road. That road has completely changed the west side of this precinct. And there's so much vacant land, there's so much room out there for a good-sized commercial, like an Amazon, a FedEx. What I'm not too crazy about, we got a lot of these data centers that they want to come out here, and that just eats up a lot of power. We don't get a whole lot of tax money off a data center. They're not selling anything. They're doing all the technical stuff and the IT stuff.
And the local public, I don't think they understand what it takes to power those data
They
centers.
don't. I'm telling you, it's
A lot of power.
lot of stuff.
Especially as we head towards AI and the amount of power that's needed for that.
Yes.
That's correct.
We need to get somebody like Amazon and those type people out here. Our big distribution center is what we, and 249 is set up just for that. You're right between Bush Intercontinental and you're right between College Station. I mean, that's a perfect spot for somebody like that to be. And we've got people that are talking to us. We're trying to get somebody in here like that.
We don't want you to give out any secrets unless you want to.
I can't give out any secrets yet, but we got a lot of people talking to us.
That's good.
We got major hospitals talking to us about that on that corridor. I mean, it's a perfect place for that kind of stuff to be.
Well, I know that it's not right on 249, but we got the new Lone Star Community College, which
Yes.
was a big drive for
Yes.
Magnolia to be able to get that in your
Yes.
precinct. So,
Yes.
and I, as I understand, you were instrumental in helping kind of get that conversation started and things moving.
We were one of them that showed them the land where we would hope they would go, and that's where they ended up going. So we worked with them. We worked with them a lot to make sure they were there and close enough to 249 that they could get off and on and just make it work.
Well, to expand that a little bit, you're talking about distribution centers and other type of industrial jobs. That college plays a key role in job development for that area.
Sure does.
Yeah, you want to talk a little bit about that?
You know, and it's right across the street from Magnolia West. I mean, how perfect is that? You can almost graduate and walk across 1486 and go right into the Lone Star College. You know, and it's a perfect school. It's a perfect fit for Magnolia, the area, and all of the industry that is in Magnolia and the surrounding area right now. It's a perfect place for these guys to go, and the shop stuff they're doing and that type of vocational stuff they're doing is just perfect for where we're at right now.
Yeah, what do you
Perfect
see
spot.
as far as going out a few years, let's say 3 to 5 years down the road, where do you see that college playing a role in maybe the next level of education, the next certifications, the next vocational jobs for those distribution centers and the building going on?
Well, again, just we're talking to a couple of major hospitals. You can sit right here and talk about a couple of major hospitals. Go right there to Lone Star College, and you're looking at nurses and lab techs and all these other people that work with these hospitals. I mean, they're right here. We're talking about welding shops, and we're talking to all kinds of people about all kinds of different stuff, and the vocational stuff that Lone Star College does. And I have to hand it to Magnolia High School, Magnolia ISD. They have really turned it around when you talk about shops, auto mechanics, woodwork, welding. They are really doing a fantastic job at the high school level, and you could just transfer that right over into that college, and you could find you a job right here and never hardly leave Montgomery County.
That's right. Well, Dr. Bullock's doing a great job
He
of
really is.
really building that next generation of workforce. You know, I meet with him on multiple subjects, but one of the things and you mentioned all the other VOTEC things they're doing, but let's not forget about that junior ROTC program.
Oh, wow.
Huge
Yeah.
program.
Yes, it is.
In a powerhouse of a program under Captain Swanson there. Think of that next generation in the military leading off and serving the nation. So very, very proud of what Magnolia ISD is doing out there, and they're doing a great job. So we talked about the road bond and reconstruction and all the things that's going on. The 2025 road bond was very instrumental and obviously, you know, I love to see the new roads coming, and you actually did my road, so I'm very happy with that. The striping and the widening, you know, it is fantastic. But what do you see this road bond doing in 2026? What's the next level of infrastructure you're working on?
Well, look, when we started talking about this road bond for 2025, I told everybody, every one of my constituents, I'm going to concentrate on county roads. As far as I'm concerned, it's a county road bond. I'm going to work on all of my major connecting streets, Goodson Loop, Nickel Sawmill, 105, Capitol Hill, those type roads. And that's what I've done. I've already done 6 of my projects have already been complete, and we're working on 3 more right now. They're in the works. We got 19 of them that we're going to do, and we'll be through. If we don't get them all knocked out by the middle of 27, by the end of 27, we'll have every one of ours done.
Good.
And we will be ready for the next round. I just don't know if everybody else will be ready for the next round.
Well,
I was curious. That took road bonds, right, for the roads you're talking about, Goodson Loop. So tell us a little bit about how you successfully get those passed, because I know we'll use our school district. I was a hard no until our superintendent came to our luncheon at our chamber and was allowed to give us full presentation of what the vision was and why they wanted to do it. It changed my vote. So I know with what you do, there's a lot that goes into the road bonds that you've got to put forward too, you and your office.
There is, and you have to get with all your financial people. They've got to show you what you can and can't do. And Skip, you know this better than me. You're probably better at talking. You are better at talking than me. But we have to know how much we can get. If it's going to increase our tax rate, we've got to know that. We've got to tell these folks. So what we do, we figure it out over the long term, over 30 years. We can sell this amount of bonds, and it won't increase your tax rate. It won't hurt your debt service. It won't hurt your rating. You know, we're one of the 9 counties that's AAA rating in the whole state. That says something right there, and I'm pretty proud of that too.
Yeah, that's
so amazing. We have to make sure we don't mess all this stuff up. And then we went out for $480 million. And again, sometimes I don't think we should split it up equally between the 4 of us. But I don't want to get into that big long battle. I know what I need. And if I get into a battle where we don't succeed, then we've hurt everybody. So you can't get into that tug of war. You have to compromise and take your share of this and make things happen. And that's what I've done.
You know, to add to that, I just want to say, you know, when you do the bond offering, Clint, one of the things you've got to consider is, has all the pre-work been done to improve the roads, widen the roads, and rebuild the roads, whatever? So in this instance, one of the reasons that Charlie, the commissioner, was willing or able to go in and do all of these is the last 5 years you've been planning for this. Yeah. So it wasn't something that was just overnight. Some of the other commissioners, they were in the process of planning. Some had not started on some of them. So the great thing is when that bond offering went out and that first phase was sold off, those what we call shovel-ready projects were ready to go because all the pre-work had been done. And I don't know how many years back you have to go, but it's several years back to do all the engineering and planning and purchase the right-of-ways and all the things that go along with that. It's not just, oh, you got the money, now go do the road.
Yes.
There's a process that has to go. So if you want to talk a little bit about that process and how long it took you to get ready for those shovel-ready jobs.
And real quick, let's not also overlook, with 4 county commissioners, the job that our county commissioner does in working with all of them.
That's right.
We can sit in one room of 10, and I can tell the person next to me, by the time it gets back to the 10th person beside me, that story's changed. So your ability to work with all our county commissioners and TxDOT and everybody in the county that needs to be worked with and accomplish what's been accomplished for our county and our growth, to me, that's quite amazing. Thanks for the road bound. I wasn't quite sure I knew what I was voting on, but I knew there was a lot behind the scenes that I had never understood.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I was very fortunate, to be honest with you. You know, we talked about 1774, 1486, 2978, Fish Creek. Most of that has already been done for me. I mean, 1488 has been under construction now for 4 years, and it's going to be another 2 years before it's completed. But that's just something we're going to have to live with. So I didn't really need to do a whole lot of stuff with TxDOT. I didn't really need to help design and engineer, do any of that for these road bonds for TxDOT, because I'm already doing some stuff with them on 1486 with TxDOT, just to try to. I'm trying to alleviate some problems that are out on 1486 where all the development is. I drive that road pretty regular, and it's a 2-lane road, and there's 35,000 lots out there available to be built on, and it's still a 2-lane road with no turn lanes, no shoulders, no anything. And it's scheduled I told you that schedule TxDOT had. It's scheduled for something like 2039 before they even looking at it.
That's not going to work.
So I've taken some pass-through money, and that's hard to explain that too. I had $15 million of pass-through money. I had it on 2854 because that's another long way out project that they've talked about. I've taken some of that money, and I went to Houston TxDOT, to the district engineer, and I said, listen, we're going to have somebody hurt out here on 1486. Instead of us tearing this road up 20 years from now, let me engineer from 249 up to Jackson Road an asphalt road that's there. You just overlaid this road 2 years ago. Why are we going to tear this all out and put concrete out? Let me widen the road, put a turn lane down the middle of it from 249 to Jackson Road, so these people that are trying to come home and trying to stop in a moving lane of traffic and almost getting rear-ended every day, it's dangerous out there. Now he's going to let us do that. The engineer has got it approved through Austin. He's going to let the county design it, pay for it, and let a contractor do an asphalt road, add 2 lanes, add a center turn lane, widen the shoulders, and add and widen the lanes to make it safer through that part of the road. You don't have to spend $200 million 10 years
From TxDOT,
from now, 10 years from now. Let's spend $6 million right now and make it safer. It's not the answer, but it's sure safer than what it is now. And we'll probably have that done in next year.
Oh, wow. That's quick.
And we're doing the same thing on 2854. That's why we're doing. That's why we're trying to work with them, because it's so dangerous. These roads, these TxDOT roads with 60 and 65 mile-an-hour speed limits, 2 lanes, that's been that way for the last 30 years. They don't realize how many people are coming out here on these roads. Yeah. I don't ever want to try to put TxDOT down. I never want to try to complain about anything they do. But one thing I will, and I tell them all the time, y'all got to get out here and ride these roads. You can't sit in Houston, and when somebody calls and says, "Hey, this traffic signal out here is not out of sync," and just pull it up on your computer and try to fix it. You got to get up here and ride. You got to get up here and get on the roads.
Yeah.
And you would have saw what I did when I went out 1486. You'd have cringed when you saw that lady almost get run over because she's trying to turn left across 1486.
Yeah.
It happens every day.
I avoid 1486.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
But
149 is going to be the same way.
It is.
It's 149, between Montgomery and Magnolia is going to be the same way. Well, this does kind of bring up and I don't know the history on this. I don't understand all these nuances, but I want you to kind of dig into that. On Old Conroe Road, that just kind of got transferred over to your purview. But tell us a little bit about the history of that and kind of what all the hoopla is about it.
Most people, or I think everybody, they just don't understand that a city, no matter how big or how small, will have just a little bit more power than a county. They've got different guidelines, different standards that they can go by. They can make ordinances, and they can do. We can't pass ordinances as a county. We can do resolutions, and we can do things through court, but we can't make ordinances, and we can't leverage a bunch of stuff like they can when they go out for federal money. When they see it's the cities that are trying to do this, they're more. I don't want to say lenient, but they deal with those guys a whole lot different than they deal with us. And it's the cities that can do this thing. So the city of Conroe came to me back in 2015 and wanted me to know if I would be okay if they expanded Old Conroe Road. Well, yeah, sure. That's great. If that's what y'all want to do, and that's what they wanted to do. They asked me if I would help them buy right of way. So I told them that I want to see what they're talking about before I'd say I would help you with right of way. Well, there's a lot of homes out there on Old Conroe Road. Old Conroe Road is 20 feet wide. There's a lot of homes on Old Conroe Road for about the first 2 miles, and they're right up on the road. They brought me something back and said we need 30 feet on each side of the road. Well, you take a road that's 20 feet, and you're going to take 30 feet of right of way, and you're going to be 10 or 15 feet from somebody's front porch on Old Conroe Road. I automatically said, no way, I'm not getting into that. I'm not doing that to these people that live out here.
Yeah.
So we said in this building upstairs, probably about 6 months, trying to figure out how we could narrow that down. And we came up with an agreement that if they would they could do what they wanted to do within 80 feet of right-of-way. They would have to take 10 feet on each side of the right-of-way that was there now. They could they would go curb and gutter and put it under the shoulders of the road till they got up to Red Oak Ranch. Then they could go out and do their 120 feet right of way if that's what they want to do, because there was plenty of room out there. There was nobody there. But I was not gonna let them do this to these people up here. So they agreed to do that. I agreed to spend $2 million on the preliminary design, and I committed $20 million out of our next road bond to the road construction. When they got to the plans and were ready to build that road, I would commit $20 million out of our next road bond. Well, things changed. They couldn't do it in 80 feet, and they did it in 100 feet, so they still took more than I wanted them to. So they never got the preliminary engineering or design to me, so I never paid my $1.9 million. Mm-hmm. Then when this road bond came up, they weren't ready for road construction, so I didn't commit $20 million to that. And I think all of that made them kind of realize, look, we're a long ways away from this thing, and we got a lot to do, and we got to figure out how to make this happen. Well, then they needed their matching funds that you had to match 80-20. Feds pay 80% of the cost, we pay 20% of the cost. They needed that money for they were having a hard time with their water and infrastructure and that type thing. So they decided they wanted to take their matching share and switch it over to water and infrastructure. And they kind of just said, we're not going to do the Old Conroe Road. We just can't do it. We're not going to do it. Well, that's a $221 million job. So when they said they weren't going to do this back in May, I knew right then that we had to do something, because I don't want $220 million of federal money going somewhere else. And if we just throwed our hands up and say, we're not going to do Old Conroe Road, nobody wants it, that money would have went somewhere else. And this money is federal income tax that we've paid to Washington that's coming back to Precinct 2 right here, $221 million. So we negotiated with the city of Conroe for 6 months, 5 months, and we finally worked out a plan to where the county decided that we would pay Conroe for all the money they had already spent on Old Conroe Road, for the design, the engineering that they'd done, the environmental's done. That's the big issue. The environmental's done. We paid them about $3.4 million to get all that transferred to us, because if we hadn't, we would have had to start all over, and that you don't want to do that. You don't want to have to go back and start from day one with engineering and design. So we paid them to let us have all that stuff. So we got it back. We got it back on January the 29th, and we sent out our first 37 proposals for purchase the right-of-way on January the 30th. I mean, we went to work immediately.
Wow.
And
So
we're
that's
still
this
working.
January the 30th, 2026.
24 hours, basically.
Yes, we got it done. We got our interlocal agreement signed with them on the 29th at Commissioner's Court. The next morning, 37 proposals for right-of-way went out. So we're off and running. But it's a long ways off. Mm-hmm. We still got all the right-of-way to buy. We still got to finish up the design, the engineering. We got the permit for the longest bridge and the longest county bridge there will be over Lake Creek and San Jacinto River, going over to Sergeant Ed Holcomb Boulevard. But it's off and running. It's under our control. It's under the Precinct 2 control. So that's one thing I'm proud of. It's we get to make the calls, and we get to work with TxDOT, the feds, to make this thing happen. And all that TxDOT will do, they say it's a TxDOT County HGAC project. The federal dollars come down to HGAC. HGAC will award the money to these projects. TxDOT makes sure that we spend the money the right way. We can't do something and if we spend this federal money the wrong way, we either lose all that money or we have to pay it back, and we don't want to do either one of them. So, but it's not hard to do. It's pretty easy to do. It's pretty simple stuff. They want you to do different stuff, but it's pretty simple.
Well, we've gone through a lot, so real quick, I kind of want to recap, because I know this has been confusing out there. And these are TxDOT projects that when we're finished, if the two of you would add to, or we can move on, that we watch that you work back with TxDOT, but it's still TxDOT's roads. That's 1488. That's 1774. It's 2978. It's SH 149. It's H 242. FM 1486. Those all fall under TxDOT.
2854.
2854. So,
we are working with TxDOT. We work with TxDOT. I don't want to say we spend too much time with TxDOT, but we spend a lot of our time with TxDOT. I'm glad I've got a crew that knows what they need to be taken care of with the county roads. I got a great crew with all of my staff and the guys out in the field. They know what needs to be done. They know what county roads we need to be working on. We've got our plan made out for the next 5 years, and they know where we're at and what we're doing. That gives me time to deal with TxDOT and deal with the cities and try to help Magnolia figure some stuff out. And I will tell you, I can tell you right now, the only one time have I had a major change when I actually talked to TxDOT. When I first got in office, they came to my office and said, we're getting ready to start widening 1774. We're going to take care of that. That's our next project. We're going to start in Pinehurst, and we're going to work our way all the way through Magnolia, across 1488, and we're going to build that overpass over the railroad tracks to keep the buses and all that from crossing the railroad tracks going out to Magnolia West. And I said, well, would y'all look at doing something? Would y'all think about starting up here at Magnolia West and working on this overpass and coming back this way so we can get that overpass in here before somebody gets killed right here at this worst intersection in state of Texas, as far as I'm concerned, 1774 and 1488.
It's a bad one.
Terrible. Yeah. And they kind of looked around, and we'll get back to you. And about a month later, they called me and said, we're going to start on that end. We're going to work from the school back to Pinehurst. That's the only time I've really had a big major change from TxDOT. Only time. Got a lot of little stuff, but that's the biggie.
I think if you've not spent a lot of time in the Magnolia or Montgomery or Conroe or the Woodlands market, and you're from outside Montgomery County kind of looking in, you don't realize how much traffic is on these roads.
You don't.
Yeah. It is a lot of traffic. And like you said earlier, those 35,000 lots that constitute at least 70,000 people, if not 100,000 people, Montgomery's got the same thing going on.
Yes.
It's this county is growing exponentially. And just to speak about the county just a little bit on the population. When I moved here, and I think in 2003, it seemed like it was maybe 500,000 people. Maybe
it was probably 450 somewhere around there.
Okay. And now where are we?
840.
840. On the way to 1 million, to be honest with you, because if you're growing at an 8 to 10% clip.
We're supposed to be at 1 million by 2035. It ain't going to be. It's not going to wait that long.
It's not going to wait that long.
It's not going to wait.
That's right. And it's a funny story, if you don't mind. When I first moved to Montgomery County in 2003, I worked downtown Houston. I don't even want to go into what that was all about, driving down there. 45,
traffic to drive in
45 or the toll road. And everybody asked me that I worked with downtown, why do you live in Montgomery County? I said, man, this is God's country up here. And I tease the people I work with now. I said, I feel like Montgomery County is God's people.
Mm-hmm.
It's God's country.
Yeah.
Because it is so pretty up here. It is a great place. And now it's become no longer the best kept secret. It is, everybody knows about it.
Yes.
And they're coming this way.
Yes.
And so you're right. The growth is, where we are today is not where we're going to be in 5 years. So what you have to do is you have to plan out for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years of where these roads need to be.
And I've been talking to the state representatives, state senators ever since I've been here. We've got to have some help from these developers. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with these developers coming in and putting these master plan communities, the big tracts, the big land. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is what I talked about a while ago. Old Conroe Road is 20 feet wide, and there's Foster's Ridge that's put probably 1,200 homes in there. River's Edge over here has probably got 800 homes right now. There's an elementary school down at the end of it, and there's one way in and out, and it's 1488. That's a mess.
Mm.
Go down Conroe Road, you can't get out unless you have to come back this way. But if these developers are going to put all of these houses and all this traffic on this 20-foot road, we need the authority to make these guys help us expand this road or fix this road. You're tearing it up with all your concrete trucks, all your construction trucks, and there's nothing I can do but ask them to help fix it. There's got to be a way, and I've tried, and our state reps, they understand. They just don't want to pull the trigger on some stuff, and we're going to have to keep working on them. When Foster's Ridge came in and said, we're going to develop this 1,200 acres or whatever it was, and here's our first section we're going to develop, we should be able to say, you're going to tie this first section to this road out here. And once you help us with this road, we'll accept that section. You can do your next section. Same thing with River's Edge. All of them that's going to develop over here need to help us with these roads. If they're going to put 200 or 300 cars or 500 cars more a day on the road, they need to help us with the road, fix the road.
Yeah, it's like anything, it wears out.
They're the ones making the money. Mm-hmm. And I know that my developers, guys that are out here develop, they hear me say this, but they hear me say this all the time. I'm not trying to do anything to these guys. We just need some help. We just gotta. I can't put all this. You can't put all this burden on somebody from Old Conroe Road, from over here on High Meadow Ranch, off 1774. They didn't create this problem. They did.
Yeah.
And it's not a problem. It's a challenge. So when
It's an opportunity.
When I said problem, it's a challenge, but it's something we've got to deal with. Sooner or later, they've got to help. We got to get some help.
Yeah, this is a good question. As this development grows, it's not just the weight on the roads; it's the weight on the infrastructure. Let me ask you this, and this is a question that I was trying to get to earlier on what is the role of the commissioner? Does the commissioner drill water wells?
No.
Do you do water infrastructure?
No.
No. You do utility infrastructure?
No. And again, but we try to coordinate with these guys. We try to help them out. Look, we know what's coming. Y'all see it's coming. We'd give anything in the world if you would get your stuff in and get out of the way before anybody else does that. But again, they don't have to do that. Yeah. They can sit right there and wait till there's 200 or 300 homes on the ground before they do anything if they want to.
Yeah. I'll tell this other story. In my neighborhood, my neighbor across the street built his house, I think it was 46 years ago. Took him 6 months to get electric.
Yes.
He just sat there. He didn't have electric. And that's what you're talking about is you may go do a development. Same thing with water and wastewater. If it's not there, you've got to build it or you've got to wait for it to get there.
Well, I've been here since 2001, and I can promise you I've seen probably 4 developments that did just what you're saying. We're going to start building these homes, and we'll get the sewer, the treatment plant in, and the sewer lines in, and the water lines in. And I watched them haul waste away for 2 years in a tanker truck before they could get everything done the way they should have.
It's called wet waste.
That's not fun.
No, that's not fun,
and
it's not cheap.
That's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Not cheap. You had mentioned earlier the role of the commissioner within the county, along with the county judge. Basically, you guys are in charge of all these departments, managing the budgets, all of those kind of things. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't understand the breakdown of their property taxes. And, there's a lot of school, there's hospital, there's college, there's all kinds of things within that scope of the property tax. Can you break down a little bit of what the county's portion is and kind of what does that look like and how it's allocated?
The county's portion of the taxes that you actually see on your tax bill is about 16.8% of the total bill. Now, when you say
in theory, less than 20%?
Less than 20%.
Okay.
And we fund and we provide the most services to the whole county. You might live in a city, you might live in the city of Conroe, but the city of Conroe uses our jail. They use all of our district courts. They use our JPs. They use our libraries. They run up and down county roads to get to and from the cities. Sheriff's office helps them if they get in a bind. What else do they? I mean, most of the services that we provide, everybody uses it. We don't come in the city and do work on their roads. We don't come in the city and do work on their traffic signals. We don't do that type thing. But we provide a lot of services for all of them. So we provide the most services for the less amount of money than anybody in this county.
So do you guys handle emergency response and operations?
Yes.
We've operated through hurricanes, winter freezes, and flooding events. We've done it pretty smoothly in Precinct 2. So could you tell us a little bit about how your office handles that?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Clint, because I will tell you, the last couple of big major storms we've had a hard time trying to get over here and get supplies. And we've been fortunate that we haven't had a lot of homes destroyed, and we've had some homes flood. I'm not going to say that, but we haven't needed a whole lot of food that we needed to hand out, or places to sleep, that type thing. But when Harvey hit, we couldn't get over here to get anything. We did need some of that stuff. We couldn't get from Magnolia to here. There was just no way to do it. Everything was flooded. It took almost 2 days before we could find a way over here. So my little pea-brain way of thinking, why don't we have our own emergency management building over in Precinct 2? And I just had the perfect spot for it right on my lot, or where I'm at right now. So we just built a 15,000 square foot building that we're going to be able to put emergency management supplies, water, MREs, cots, you name it, some medicine, something, anything we might need for a disaster, we'll have it right over there. So we don't have to depend on Conroe, because we got a big warehouse here in Conroe with all our emergency management stuff in it. And we won't have to depend on getting over here if we have that again.
That'll be a great addition.
It is going to be a great addition. And when I came up with that, the other guy said, "Hey, that's a pretty good idea." So Precinct 4 is building one right now, and I think Commissioner Walker's getting ready to do the same thing.
Yeah, we just had a major storm last year that I remember seeing the videos. It was trees down everywhere.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously, your crews were out, cutting limbs, cutting trees, clearing roads. But then I saw there was in the freeze we just had, weren't you?
We were sanding roads and sanding bridges and
opening up something for people to stay.
We did. We opened up our Friendship Center over there on Friendship Drive. We opened it up for people at Warming Center type.
Warming Center. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Warming
I couldn't remember what it was called, but how many people do you in the neighborhoods around that? And I mean, the Warming Center was obviously used. How many people use that service?
Skip, I really don't know. I don't know. I was so busy doing the other things all night, and trying to keep the roads up. Since the toll road is over there in my precinct, that's one of my major concerns, is trying to keep that road open along with the other roads.
Yeah.
But the toll road is, that's one of my major deals, trying to keep it open so you can go north and south. You got a way to get out, evacuation route. That's the way you need to go.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the toll road. Just so I know that was a big project, one that not only was a big project going through that side of the precinct, but also a revenue generator. You want to talk a little bit about that?
It has been. It's been a wonderful addition to, like I said a while ago, to that side of the precinct, that side of the whole county. We opened it up. We opened it up in 2019, December of 2019. We opened up the 2 ramps at Hardin Store at Spring Creek, just so we could get the other roads finished. And we opened the rest of the road. The whole road was opened in March the 1st of 2020, and that's when COVID hit. So we were getting ready to open this road. We had our bond, all of our bond people that we bought all our bonds from to build the road. We'd already negotiated in what the toll rate was going to be, how we were going to operate, what we were going to do, and this is how we were going to do it. And the minute we started to open up, COVID hit, and then Harris County decided they were going to do away with their tolls until COVID was over. Well, we couldn't do that because we were brand new. Harris County can close theirs for a while and not hurt. We couldn't do that. So we had a lot of people upset with us that we were keeping our toll rate at $1.25 the minute it opened up, even though COVID had shut everything else down. But our bonding people and our all those folks said, you have to keep this thing open. You have to do that because you're brand new, and you got to start paying. Our contract says you got to start paying. Skip, you know what I'm saying? You got to start paying.
We won't pay back.
We're going to get this money one way or the other. You're going to do it, and believe it or not, when that toll road opened, we beat our projections the first year by over 200-something% of what we were supposed to do.
Wow.
When most of it was COVID. So that road has generated, we've generated enough money where we're paying all of our bills, we're paying all of our debt service, we're paying all of our bondholders the way they want us to way they want us to pay, and we've got about $35 million worth of projects that we are working on with TxDOT on funding some of the engineering and design on. You said 149 a while ago.
Yes.
Little simple 2-lane road.
That's coming.
We are trying to make TxDOT understand we will design it and engineer it and hand you construction plans if you will build it, and they've agreed to do that. So
I'm glad to hear that. I go down that road every day.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story too. We are working on that every day to go from Pinehurst to 1488, the first section of that road. We're paying for that out of our toll road money for the engineering and design, schematics, right of way, whatever we need to do, and they're going to build it. Now, from 1488 up to Jackson Road is another little problem, because 149, that 149 from there to Jackson Road is sitting right in the middle of the railroad right of way.
Oh gosh!
And they just found out about it.
Oh,
when we started surveying to say we're going to design this, they just found it. So the railroad and 140 and TxDOT are trying to figure out what they're going to do there. So I don't know what's going to happen there.
Doesn't the railroad have a little say to stop things?
The railroad's got more say than TxDOT.
The
More say is my
railroad
point.
will stop
Yeah.
a red light
They
for
will.
a long time.
I watched a red light get stopped.
Yes.
and because of the.
That's right. That's right. Railroad's tough.
And their answer is, we were here before y'all were.
Yeah.
Well, and he's telling the truth.
He's
but-
not lying, is he?
and they're pretty hard to deal with. But
Is
it's
there
something you have
plans to
do.
go from Jackson Road 149 junction over that tracks to Montgomery? Because that's going to get nothing but more congested.
So we're going up to Jackson Road, then we're going to go from Jackson Road up to Montgomery, widen it to 4 lanes.
Oh, nice.
All that's going to be done. When you're coming back from Montgomery to Jackson Road, the railroad tracks, we're going to go over the railroad tracks with an overpass and over Jackson Road, and we're going to go right across that virgin land over to 249.
Oh, wow.
And then we're going to go from 249 over to the Magnolia Relief route. All of that is done with this bond money that we're designing and engineering with all.
That's great news.
Now, let me tell you another little problem we got. We got the railroad we got to cross there, BNSF Railroad. But just north of that is Center Point with the major service line, power line through there. When we showed them we were going to go over the railroad track, they told us we'd have to raise the power, which we kind of figured we'd have to raise the lines, but we didn't figure we was going to get hit like we did. First, they told us we had to go back and move 2 of these towers, and it would cost $2 million to raise it up so we could have enough clearance over the overpass. Then it came back that we had to go back another, so we had to do 4 posts, so that was $9 million. So now it's back to 6 poles, and we have to give them enough room over this overpass to put a 3rd leg of the track. So it's up to $17 million just to get those power lines moved. Gosh. And to add enough room for them to do the 3rd leg of that track. All uncalled for. It's all uncalled for. But that's where we are with those guys right now. And that project, we got the plans on that project 90% done. So if we could ever get the railroad and Center Point to agree, we don't need all this right now. Let us build this road, and we'll negotiate all this other stuff later on. We could probably have that road built in the next 2 years, but it's going to take us that long to fight them with the attorneys and railroad and Center Point. And it's going to take at least that long. Yeah. It's the only people that's going to get rich are the attorneys again. That's how it's going to be.
This is all information that I don't believe most of us average voters knew. Just how much the complexity that there was between how our county commissioner, Charlie Riley, and TxDOT, and the railroad commissioner, and electricity, and everything all ties in to one thing to accomplish what we need.
It's just hard to tell people what we got going on and make them explain. That's why I don't try. I just can't get tied up in 1488. I can't make them understand that what we do. And us with the toll road, it's like running 2 precincts over there. We've got the whole toll road, and I've got the precinct, and we're doing it all. It's a lot to do. I'm not complaining about any of it. It's just hard to explain to people what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand. They don't grasp what we're trying to say.
Well, and I would say, and I've been around you enough, and I've been around some of your team. It's not a one-man show.
No,
it's a team approach. You want to talk a little bit about your team?
I'm telling you right now, and it's going to make these other commissioners upset. I got the best precinct. I got the best staff. I got the best crew of anybody here. There's nobody doing it like us. I'm telling, absolutely nobody. We do it better than anybody, and we do more of it than anybody.
Well, I'm glad of that.
I can promise you that.
Yeah, I'm glad of that.
So, Skip, did you want to hit anything else specific real quick?
No, I think I've covered everything.
I think you did a great job. So, Charlie, for a final thought before our lightning round, can you tell us, is there one thing that you want residents of Precinct 2 to better understand about infrastructure growth, what that would be, and how it pertains to your office?
I would hope and I wish that people right now, if they had a question about what's going on anything, instead of jumping on this phone or this computer and just blurting stuff out, come see us or call us. Ask me. Come knock on the door. Come in. We're always there. We'll talk to anybody. It's just too hard to try to get on these social media stuff and explain anything. They just don't understand it. And I've had so many people that have been upset with me about all kinds of things, and most of them is something I don't have anything to do with. But when you can sit down with somebody and look them in the eye across the table and explain to them what we're doing and why we do it, 9 times out of 10 they understand and they're happy. They just want to know, but there's got to be a better way than how we're doing it. I can't make people understand on the phone and social media what we do and how we do it. It's just not working. It's not going to work.
I've learned a tremendous amount, so I want to encourage our fellow citizens. If you're confused about something, quit going on social media and take an assumption that those that are telling you how it is fact. That doesn't mean that everything you read is not fact. It does mean quit making guesses. So, Charlie, could you please tell our listeners how they can call back to your office and where somebody can get on the phone and explain to them stuff that they're confused about? Maybe it's something they're upset about that your office can clear up and give them some details on.
Now, I want to say this. I don't do anything automated over there. You pick up the phone and call my office, you're going to talk to a live person. If it's after hours, you're going to get a voicemail. But if it's during business hours, somebody is going to a live person is going to talk to you. And we're going to write down messages. We're not going to do all this, put it in a computer and send it to whoever. We're going to write it down and hand it to who needs it. Now, if you call the office and you've got questions about a bunch of construction or a bunch of why I'm doing what I'm doing or why our guys are doing this and why this guy's over here putting a traffic signal here when he should be over here, 9 times out of 10, those ladies up front do a fantastic job. They're not going to know. So I've had people tell me, you got people up there that don't have a clue what they're doing. They don't. They're going to take the message about what you need and they're going to get it to the right person, and that right person is going to call you back and either get it done over the phone or have you come in, whatever you need to do, or go see the problem. Those ladies up front, they're great at what they do, but they don't know what we're doing out in the field most of the time. They just don't. So pick up the phone and call us. Websites, Facebook, all that. I don't do all that. Somebody over there, I got somebody that does that, but I don't even deal with it. I never even look at it. It'll drive you crazy. It's just too much.
So can you give a phone number out to your office?
I sure will. It's 281-259-6492.
All right, thank you. We're going to have a little fun and go into the lightning round.
Oh, boy, this sounds fun.
The most misunderstood responsibility of a county commissioner.
That I've got more power than anybody else over there in Precinct 2, and that is absolutely not true. If I had as much power as some of these people think I do, I would be dangerous.
Good deal. A road project residents do not realize how many years it's taken to planning.
Wood Trace, the old Woodlands Parkway extension. That's been planned for 30 years, and it's still not done. We got the first phase finally out to bid. We'll probably award that contract, I guess, Thursday to do the first phase of that.
Most expensive part of road construction is in land, labor, drainage, or materials.
Material and property, right away and material.
What is one thing residents can do to help our infrastructure last longer?
I would say quit running up and down the roads with overloaded vehicles, quit running off the shoulders of roads, quit tearing up ditches, quit mudding in ditches, quit tearing signs down, quit running over signs. I mean, we see all kinds of stuff, and that's what they do. It's mischievous kids most of the time. But they don't realize if you start mudding in a ditch, how long it takes us to try to get out there and fix that ditch and get it back in shape, and how much money that costs.
You know, I grew up here, so the other thing I thought about with that, even though it was still the same amount of damage, it was able to be handled differently because there wasn't near the population. And you know how that was usually handled?
Yes, I do.
Clint, if you don't get your behind to the house, I'm going to call your daddy.
Yeah.
And it was like, yes, sir, I'm heading out of here.
Or you'd get that at night. Hey, was you out on so-and-so? Yeah.
I never had that, Charlie.
So what makes Precinct 2 unique?
I think where we're at, number one, with we're so close to Tomball. Spring Creek is the dividing line. We got Grand Pines that you can get across Spring Creek now and go straight into Harris County. We're close to Harris County. That's good and that's bad. But we've got a pretty good working relationship with Harris County, with Commissioner Briones. You know, she's come in and she's good to work with, and we're trying to work on a project right now that I can't say a whole lot about. But when you can work with Harris County on a project that helps you and her both, or both of us, that's a good thing to do. Unique is we got the toll road through. Every bit of the toll road is in Precinct 2. We got the dadgum Renaissance out there that's been there for 50 years. That traffic used to be a nightmare for the first 40 years. The last 10 years, we've been able to clean that up with the widening of 1774, the toll road, all those good things. It's just unique, and it's still a bunch of good people that are concerned about things, that are the way things are going. Most of those people go about trying to get the things done the right way. Some of those people just get a little out there in left field, but you have to deal with all of them. But we're unique, and I think we still have the brotherly love for everybody. I really do. I think that's where it's at. Still over here in Precinct 2.
Yeah. Well, in Precinct 2, with our County Commissioner, Charlie Riley, I'm very grateful that you came on the show. I appreciate it very much. I think you've cleared up a lot. I've been blessed to have Skip Colvin. I consider him a real good friend of mine. Come on and help with the show today as my co-host. Skip, I want you to take this time, tell them what you do, what your bank does. Tell them a little bit about yourself before we head into the closing.
Thank you, Clint. I appreciate that. Skip Colvin, I'm the market president for Texas Regional Bank. We're new to Montgomery County. I'm not new to Montgomery County, but we just built a brand new bank on 1488, close to the new development in Magnolia. We're a $3 billion bank, but we pretty much have every major service that a large bank does, whether it be insurance, which we own our own insurance company. We do obviously commercial lending. We have merchant services. We have investment banking. We pretty much do everything. So wealth management is robust. We have a huge trust and wealth management department. So anything that you need in banking or commercial or financing, we can pretty much handle for you. So I do appreciate the time too, and appreciate you, Clint, for letting me come on. But appreciate Commissioner Riley give us an hour of his busy time.
Yeah, we are working. Skip and I are working to put something together. We want to give our Montgomery County politicians, once they're elected, this type of venue where they can come in so that our general public have an idea of what's going on. And it's not just come election time they're hearing. We want to make sure that our elected officials have that venue to come out and discuss with their constituents what's all happening there. Skip, thank you very much. Today was not about politics. It was about clarity. County roads versus state roads. Bond projects versus operational budgets, growth management versus emergency response. If you live in Precinct 2, you should now have a better understanding of how our system actually works. And if you don't, please call our County Commissioner's office. They'll be more than happy to explain to you how this works for you. Commissioner Riley, thank you so much for coming on to Genuine Business Stories and providing clarity around the responsibilities of our county commissioner and how infrastructure decisions are made. Conversations like this help residents better understand how their community operates and what goes on behind the scenes to keep things fully moving. And to our listeners, thank you for turning in to Genuine Business Stories. We hope today's conversation gave you a clear understanding as to how our county government works, how the functions are handled, how our infrastructure works, the growth, the planning, and everything that goes into making all of our projects and roadworks work better for us as the citizens. If you're enjoying our show, this is Lone Star Community Radio. This show is not possible without our owner and producer, Dick. We very much ask that you would consider being a sponsor to the show. And if you can't sponsor, please go back into Lone Star and become somebody that does a donation for them. And if you know a leader, an entrepreneur, or a community builder with a story that deserves to be heard, have them reach out. We might just feature them in the future. Until next time, keep showing up, keep building, and keep it genuine. Thank you.